You're watching BBC London. I'm Assad Ahmed. On the programme tonight, concerns remain about safety after another woman hitting the emergency button on the tube network says she got no response.
I kept pressing the alarm. We were shouting and waving down the platform for the man to help, and nothing. There was no response from the alarm. The member of staff didn't act.
Transport for London has apologised again. Also tonight, we report live from Epping after a court rules asylum seekers can stay at the hotel at the centre of recent protests. Putting the brakes on SUVs, campaigners want owners to pay more to drive them in London. And
just me and you.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we catch up with cabbie Darren, star of Destination X, and we put his local London knowledge to the test. Good evening. Months after Transport for London said they'd ensure staff were always available to answer emergency help buttons on the London Underground, it appears the problem is still there. Days ago, a woman at Stratford Station tried to alert staff to a violent attack on the DLR. She pressed the button for help, but nothing. It follows a case earlier this year of a woman being punched on the Underground who similarly tried to get help. Again, nothing. In both cases, TfL apologised. Here's Aisha Baksh.
And if you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff.
Safety messages are often heard on public transport in London, and passengers are encouraged to take action and get help.
See it, say it, sorted.
Last Friday, though, while at Stratford Station, Renee witnessed a violent attack on a man in a DLR carriage, but she struggled to get help.
I heard these young women screaming, get off him, get off him, get off him. So I popped my head into the carriage, and I could see these two men violently kicking and punching another man that was on the floor. All I kept thinking was just stop the train so we can get these men off that other man.
First, she pressed the emergency alarm button on the platform.
I kept pressing the alarm. We were shouting and waving down the platform for the man to help, and nothing. There was no response from the alarm. The member of staff didn't act, and I just saw the train doors closing. It was like something out of a horror film, really.
And when the train had left the station, Renee continued to try and get help.
So when you pressed that alarm, did anyone answer?
No.
Not at all?
There was no response, no. And even when the train had gone, there wasn't any response. So we walked to go and speak to the member of staff, the member of staff that was waiting further down the platform. And he said, oh, go speak to those guys over there, and pointed over his shoulder behind him into the main atrium space. And that's where we could see those two other members of TfL staff and two police officers. So it's okay, perfect.
The young women then got help from the police, but Renee was so upset about what happened, she took to social media to vent her frustrations, and her post was viewed by thousands of people.
Hi, just a quick message for TfL. What is the point of telling us to see it, say it, sorted, if you see something, you say something and your staff don't do anything?
TfL have apologised to Renee. In a statement to BBC London, they said they've tested the help point and believe noise levels at Stratford Station made communication difficult. They also said they're supporting British Transport Police in their investigation. Meanwhile, Renee says she will continue to travel on public transport, but hopes getting help on the platforms can be made easier and more efficient. Aisha Baksh, BBC London.
OK, let's get more on this with Alice Bandakravi. And Alice, I just want to first start off with the victim on the DLR train. Do we have any more information about him or her?
Unfortunately, we don't. Nobody has come forward, but we do know that British Transport Police have today put out an appeal to speak to 3 men about this assault that they're investigating on the DLR train approaching Stratford International. They've released these images after the assault at 10 p.m. on Friday, the 22nd of August, and they say that these 3 men have information which could help their investigation.
And now the issue of pressing the button like Renee did and nobody responding like she said nobody did. I know this isn't the first time this has happened.
That's right, Asad, you know, because you spoke to somebody to whom this happened, Sally Winter, who spoke about her experience in March after she was unfortunately assaulted. Nobody answered her emergency call at that point from a help point on a Victoria Line platform.
I pressed the big green button that said emergency and no one picked up. I then rang 999. I was there for half an hour and sadly no one ever came for that help point. Because I had no voice, no guidance from that help point, I felt stuck. I felt isolated and honestly so much more vulnerable because it was underground.
Now, back then, in that case, TfL said that they would investigate how she could have been left without a response to that emergency call. City Hall also intervened and apologised, saying that it was unacceptable. And yet here we are with this evening's example. TfL saying about this evening's example that Renee's call was answered. So there is a bit of a discrepancy there. And they suggest, as Aisha said, that there could have been sound problems on the platform. They've also said that on the underground, because that happened on the DLR, they say on the underground they are currently upgrading passenger help points, and in rare cases of unanswered emergency calls, people will be rerouted to a control centre to receive emergency assistance.
Yeah. OK, Alice, thanks very much. We'll certainly see if any more cases do pop up. Many thanks. Asylum seekers will be allowed to stay at a hotel in Epping after the government won an appeal against an injunction that would have forced them to leave. The High Court previously said the men being housed at the Bell Hotel would have to leave by the middle of September after a series of protests. BBC Essex reporter Simon Dedman is in Epping for us this evening. Simon.
Asad, Epping has been the epicentre of protest, but also legal action against the use of hotels to house asylum seekers. Tonight, though, the Bell Hotel will be allowed to remain open. There is once again a protest there. We understand around 24 people are there. There have been some beeps and passing cars showing their support. These protesters are protesting once again against the use of the hotel there. Seems to be largely peaceful. Of course, over the past few weeks, there have been some that have caused disorder and violence. There have also been pro-refugee protests that have been taking place. And a lot of these protests have been as divisive in many ways as the use of the hotel itself. And now, with the Court of Appeal's legal U-turn effectively saying the hotel can stay open, the community here once again is divided on this judgment.
Well, I think probably just that happening will probably cause a lot of upset. People are very emotional about it at the moment. So in that way, it's a bit of a shame. But let's hope it's the right decision and things calm down.
I don't agree with it because we don't look after our own people before we look after others. Our own people need more looking after, our ex-soldiers and everyone, that they're homeless as well.
Disgusting. I think, like then, get rid of them. I don't care where they go, as long as our people have been looked after.
It feels like you have to be in by a certain time with all of that going on at that end.
Is that because of the protest, would you say, or because of the actual Asylum hotel itself?
I think both, really. I think, if anything, the protesting's made it even more kind of big. So, yeah, gives you a lot of questions in your head, I think.
Well, there were people today who didn't want to go on camera, who were pleased with the way the judgment went. They welcome asylum seekers and think the hotel should stay open. They think the council shouldn't take further action. But the local councillor for the Bell Hotel, Holly Whitbread, gave this reaction to the news today.
The news today is deeply disappointing and will feel like a betrayal for many residents in Epping Forest. The council committed from day one to use every possible legal, democratic and diplomatic route we could, and we tried to take out this injunction against the Somani Hotels group. It's deeply disappointing that the Home Secretary decided to intervene in this case.
What has the reaction to that, and indeed the ruling, been so far from people, your residents?
So obviously it's very early days. I mean, my immediate response as the council is that we continue to fight. Obviously, we've still got the case for the permanent injunction in October. As far as I'm concerned, we continue with that.
While the Home Office will be breathing a sigh of relief tonight, they won't have to remove the 138 asylum seekers at the Bell Hotel. But Epping Forest District Council, they're saying they are still considering taking full legal action with an injunction. And other councils like neighbouring Broxbourne in Hertfordshire say they might still take legal action against a hotel in their area. Asad.
Simon, in Epping, thanks very much for that. It's divided opinion and probably continue to do so for some time. Many thanks. And there's more on that story on the BBC website. But now let's take a brief look at some other stories making the news today. The government has told the company running Britain's largest immigration removal centre at Heathrow to scrap adverts for several jobs. It's after it emerged that the outsourcing firm Mitty was looking to hire teachers for balloon craft, floristry and painting and decorating. Essex Police is looking for two men believed to have vandalised an Islamic centre by spray painting a St George's cross on its walls. This is England, and the words Christ is King were also sprayed onto the South Essex Islamic Trust building near Basildon. Oxford Street is to go car-free for one day to demonstrate how pedestrianisation could work if the Mayor of London's plans for it go ahead. The street will be closed to cars from midday to 8 p.m. on Sunday, the 21st of April. Now, the number of SUV and large 4x4 vehicles on London's roads has rocketed tenfold in just 20 years. And campaigners want to put the brakes on the rising number. Why? Because, among other reasons, they say the vehicles are more polluting and dangerous. Our transport correspondent Tom Edwards has been taking a closer look.
Sports utility vehicles, or SUVs, are getting more and more popular in London. But campaigners think their use should be curbed. They say they can be heavier, take up more road space, and they're more dangerous.
It's really scary because obviously children hit by huge cars are at much more risk.
Nicola lives in Lambeth, and her group want the council to take action over SUVs.
We would like the councils to ultimately take action to deter the ownership and increasing and buying of SUVs, and the measures available to them are thinking about how they can use their parking tariffs to make it more expensive to park an SUV in a city. If you're a big car and you're taking up more space and you're more of a threat to the public, then you should pay more.
SUVs and large vehicles are not a new issue. In 2008, the then Mayor Ken Livingstone tried to increase the congestion charge on 4x4s to £25. And last year, Paris voted to treble parking charges on SUVs. Researchers say they are more dangerous.
The very clear finding here was that if you are hit by an SUV compared to being hit by a normal passenger car, you are much more likely to be killed, much more likely to be seriously injured. Among everyone, that was a 44% increase in the risk of death, and among children, there was an 82% increased risk of death.
The London Assembly has called for size restrictions, while some councils are considering action. In Westminster, they have parking charges based on emissions, but say they may do more.
I think we're open to any way that we can improve the street environment in Westminster. Right now, we're still just reviewing the first year of emissions-based charging, and that has been very effective at cleaning up the air. And it does mean that some of those larger, more polluting vehicles are paying more, and we're discouraging some of those uses and those trips. So I think we are making progress, but yeah, clearly there's still some way to go.
Motor manufacturers declined to comment, but the debate around SUVs in cities shows no sign of going away. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
This is BBC London on BBC One and the iPlayer. Still to come on the programme.
Just me and you.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. All right.
We catch up with one of the stars of TV show Destination X and put London cabbie Darren's knowledge to the test. Plans to redevelop Britain's busiest train station are getting a knockback before they've even been approved. Network Rail wants to demolish part of London Liverpool Street, saying work is long overdue. However, Campaigners say the plan needs to be rejected out of hand as it's environmentally backward. Here's Harry Lowe.
For generations, it's been a key London terminus, bringing people to and from the east of England. And it's now Britain's busiest railway station. But plans to transform Liverpool Street have been criticised in a report commissioned by a campaign group. Its author says the redevelopment, including a 19-storey office block, is likely to be redundant on completion.
But it is about resource efficiency. It's about using resources sensibly and reducing waste, all that kind of thing, in the performance of constructing buildings and occupying them. And at the moment, the sort of proposal we have here, and indeed some of the buildings around here, are just inefficient, both in terms of construction, but also in terms of the life cycle of buildings.
Following thousands of complaints from members of the public, Network Rail submitted fresh plans in April. But these latest proposals have also drawn ire from people who are concerned about a lack of sustainability.
We are all in agreement that this station needs upgrades and improvements to accessibility and its functionality. What our concerns are is the fundamental demolition first, wrecking ball approach that is being taken here that will be hugely destructive and highly disruptive to passengers.
It's a beautiful building as it is. It's a heritage asset for the city. So, you know, as a visitor to the city, it's a lovely way to come in. And with it being redeveloped, I'm really not keen on the idea, to be honest.
I think the main thing is not to wreck the historic aspect of the building. I don't know how much London needs more office space.
I think it'll be good. I mean, it's a really big station and I think a lot of tourists come in, so hopefully it'll be a good renovation.
Network Rail told us the vast majority of the existing station is being retained and refurbished. The redevelopment of Liverpool Street makes a vast contribution to reducing the carbon footprint in London through the significant upgrade, which will enable 2 billion additional passengers to undertake sustainable journeys over the next 60 years. The City of London Corporation's assessing the plans and is on track to make a decision by the end of the year. Harry Lowe, BBC London.
Pupils will be back to school soon, which means attention turns to shirts and ties and getting shoes and trainers. Well, the charity Smile helps families to get school uniforms. And they've also been helping out in another way. Anna O'Neill tells us how.
There's a buzz about this Romford hub, and it's not just the sound of the clippers. As well as a uniform swap, Smile London and Essex runs a food bank and a charity shop, and today it's also a barber's.
We provided free school uniform for over 500 children this year, and for the conversations we were having with the families, one of the financial restrictions they were having is getting back to school, but the hygiene side of it, the fresh haircuts, with the confidence. You're looking for boys' haircuts at like £25 to £30 per child, and we have families here, we've got 6 to 7 kids. So it's so expensive.
In the hot seat is 13-year-old Mohammed Kasim, whose family visits Smile regularly.
On Thursday we come for pantry and we take the stuff for kitchen and eating and everything, and we also look around for something that we could find for the children.
A haircut for each of his 6 children before the start of term can often be an expense too far.
So that means saving a lot of money for the children, for the people, for the parents especially, those who are going through a tough phase of their life especially. So I think it's a huge contribution to the society.
These developments are really, really good.
It's also a chance for trainees from local barbers Hair Force One, which has partnered with Smile to prove they can make the cut.
I'm actually really, really impressed, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. These boys are really passionate about what they do. They're extremely passionate about developing and becoming the best, and opportunities like this just shows it. It just absolutely shows it. So they get to add something to their skill set as well as add something to the local community. add value, you know, give back.
It's the first time Smile has offered a children's barbers, but Maria hopes it won't be the last.
It'd be great to do it as a monthly thing, so then families can then budget that they can come in every other month to get their hair cut. Because with boys' hairs, it only lasts for 6 weeks and they've got to get retrimmed.
Do you feel good? Yeah. The new haircut has put a smile on Mohammed Qasim's face.
I think that he's done a wonderful job, and all smiling, all cooperative, all wonderful people. Thank you.
Anna O'Neill, BBC London.
What a terrific idea that is. Now, if you've been watching or if you're going to catch up with the hit show Destination X, we're not going to spoil it for you, although the winner was announced last night. The show sees contestants racing around collecting clues to find out where in Europe they are. Earlier, I spoke to one of them who's enjoyed huge popularity since show 1. It's London cabbie Darren Parr. But first, here's a clip from the show.
For me, I'll try and word associate things. Fat accordion.
Yeah, fat accordion. Fat accordion.
Yeah. And that worked for Claire as well. She picked that up.
Orange and black. She had 3, 1 on the red.
Right.
Darren Parr travelling in a blacked out coach with people you don't know. That's really tough. As a cabbie travelling around with people you don't know, did you find it maybe easier than the other contestants?
Love that. That's
Yeah.
just part of my work. So yeah, talking to the other people and that's what I do every day. So
Yeah.
there's no problem with that whatsoever.
And it looked so natural. I think that's one of the reasons why people have taken to you so much, as you've probably realised coming out of the show.
Do you know what? It has been absolutely fantastic. Loved it to bits. People coming up and I've done nothing as far as I'm concerned. You know, when people coming up going, "Oh, we loved you," and who wouldn't love that?
You've climbed up Kilimanjaro more than once. You've rowed across the Atlantic 3,500 miles. How did Destination X compare to those other big physical challenges?
Right up there with them.
Really?
Right up there with them. I got to tell you, yeah. It was very tough at times. You're very confined. Although, like, I'm happy with my own company. At times, obviously, you've got to reach out. You've got to connect with other people, and that don't always feel comfortable. Obviously, I was missing family and friends, so that got pretty tough at times as well. So I just bumbled my way through. The actual mental side of it, I think I was rubbish at it.
No.
I just nicked bits off of people, like fed off the other people, and they all seemed to think that I weren't a threat. I was happy with that. I just wanted the experience to carry on, you know. It seemed to work.
When it comes to getting back in the black cab, are you prepared for you, instead of saying, "Look who was in the back of my cab," for people to say, "Look who was driving my cab"? Because that's what's going to happen.
I'd love it if people got in and do that. Yeah, of course I'm prepared. You know, it's brilliant. I absolutely. How can you not love people coming up and saying, "Oh, you blah blah blah," and it's all been so positive as well, which has been so nice. You know.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Well, you've earned every bit of it. Now, Destination X was all about solving cryptic clues. We've created our own cryptic clues, especially for you, obviously within London, not across the continent of Europe. While we set that up, let's just take a look at you trying to solve your final cryptic clue, which proved just a step too far, but you gave it a really good go.
Good. Come on, Louvre, jump out. Should imagine it's somewhere near the centre of Paris. Go there.
Right, Darren, you've obviously done the knowledge, you've done Destination X. We've kind of married the two together for a Destination X London knowledge quiz for you with cryptic clues. Let's see how you do with these. There are a couple of pictures. Do you know where in London that's meant to signify?
Bexhill,
Let's see the answer. Neasden. The den's not so obvious, I have to say. Let's take a look at the next one. Here we go.
Catford.
There we go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, here's the next one. This is along the
Isle of Dogs.
There we go. Isle of Dogs. Perfect. Okay, on to the next one.
Rice.
Yeah.
Islip.
They just keep coming.
Mate, there we go.
Right. And this one I found tricky, I have to say. I was really stuck on this. It's whatever's in this mix.
Batter see.
There we go. There we go. This is an logic. Right. There's one now, especially for you. Especially for you. Close to home.
Mill. Whoa.
There we go.
Love it.
All fan. I think you did brilliantly there. That is really good going. That shows the expert at work. Darren, thank you so much. And I know if people want to watch the final from yesterday, if they want to watch all 10 episodes and watch you travelling around Europe, and it really is worth watching just for that alone, they can watch on the BBC iPlayer at any time. Darren, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's been great. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, let me tell you, Darren was an absolute gentleman, and he came in with his wife, Jackie P, who was delightful. The weather now with Sarah, and some heavy showers today.
Yeah, it's been one of those days, hasn't it? Brolly's up 1 minute, then down the next minute, sunglasses on again. So yeah, real mix. Yeah, good evening to you. That mixture of weather types is going to continue actually through the weekend. So we've had some sunshine. It's felt quite warm actually where you've been in the sunshine between the downpours, but there have been plenty of downpours as well. So some big dramatic shower clouds out there. We've got some rumbles of thunder over the next few hours as well. And as we head through the weekends, subtle changes. The winds are going to be picking up. There's going to be some rain around, especially later on Saturday as well. Temperatures though pretty similar to what we've seen today. So the next few hours, still that threat of a few heavy thundery downpours, clearing away though later this evening. And overnight looks mostly dry. The winds will fall a little bit lighter too, so it'll be a fairly cool night. Temperatures just dipping down into single figures for some of us in the more rural spots around town. I think could be the odd misty patch first thing, but some early sunshine tomorrow. Dry start to the day. I think the morning is best in terms of sunshine. Later on, you can see that cloud building in from the west, bringing with it some light showers initially. The winds are going to be picking up too, but during the latter part of the afternoon, that's when the more persistent rain will roll its way in. Before it does, top temperatures around 20 or 21 degrees, but those gusts of wind you can see in the black circles around 30 miles an hour. So blustery conditions continue and wet conditions certainly continue Saturday evening. The bulk of the rain clears away as we move through the overnight period into Sunday morning. Still quite a breeze blowing, so it won't be as cold as this coming night, with temperatures around about 11 to 14 to start your Sunday morning. And Sunday morning, again, some early sunshine, but it will be one of those days, a bit like today, sunny spells and scattered heavy showers. They'll be moving through quite quickly, though, on that brisk southwesterly wind. And temperatures again, 20, 21 degrees, but a noticeable breeze. Things stay unsettled, low pressure very much with us still as we head through into the new working week. So it's going to be a week of more rain at times, bit of sunshine in between, not as warm as it has been though, Asad.
OK, thanks very much for that, Sarah. OK, that's it for now. I'm back at 10:30 with our late news on BBC One. Before then, you can go to BBC London on Facebook, on Instagram or X. For more images and snippets of the day's news, you can do that 24 hours a day. Millions of people already do it. You can find out why by joining them. Until later, whatever you're doing this evening, wish you a very good evening. Bye-bye.